everyone. I have our next Laura Whitaker sketch video to share with you today. I'm showing you the photos and the sketch. We're going to use some Scrap and Happy Studio epoxy flare that match so perfectly with this collection. This is Coffee and Friends from Echo Park, and I have the whole collection kit, the stamps, and the 6x6 paper pad, and then I bought a couple extra of a few things. So I'm starting with this white cardstock. I'm cutting it down to 11 by 11, which gives me a fabulous border, about half an inch around my entire page. I'm going to go ahead and follow this sketch a little bit. I'm going to keep the idea of a grid, but I'm going to flip where the photos and where the decorative elements are, things like that. I'm going to start by trimming my photos down. I ended up using photos that were not perfectly square. They were 3.5 tall by 3 1/4 wide. That just allowed me to make sure that I had a nice spaced grid and also that fun border around the edge. So if you'll notice, it's not Wednesday. I am a little behind. This is going up a bit late. I had a few days where you'll notice I haven't posted a video since Monday. I ended up with a terrible migraine, and it literally took me days. I think that it had something to do with the weather, and I'm not sure. I think maybe my oldest son, Morgan, also had terrible headaches for a couple of days. So it might have been some kind of bug or something he brought home from work. But no fever, not corona. It's okay. Just a bad headache for a couple of days that I had to deal with. So I'm just now kind of getting around and feeling, really this morning was the first morning I woke up feeling like I could voice over videos and get some things posted and up and done. So I've chosen 3 patterns from the 6x6 paper pad. I also pulled some of the 6x6 cut apart sheets because I love those smaller scale items. They're so fun. I'm going to use a bunch of these cut apart sheets. I'm going to use them as my title. I'm going to use them as some journaling. I'm going to use them as like a die cut pieces. And that way I have things that are scaled down for these small boxes. So the 6x6 papers are a smaller size. And then I have all these cute little cut apart pieces that I can use to add my journaling and stuff. So this is the Coffee and Friends collection from Echo Park. I got mine from a cherry on top, of course, because I don't really shop that many places. There's only a few. And this particular layout is very coffee themed, but there is tons of stuff in this collection that has nothing to do with coffee and is fabulous. And I'm going to be playing with some not coffee themed layouts later on. But this particular layout, I really wanted to do these photos my sister sent me of my niece. So I am using the tearaway tape from spiegelbomb Scraps to adhere the white cardstock to my pattern paper background. This tearaway tape is fabulous. So if you've ever used tearaway tape before, you know that most of the time it's super duper adhesive, right? Like you flip it over, and if you don't have it lined up perfectly, it's going to shift and move and you're going to end up with crooked stuff. This tape actually gives you a bit of a moment, we'll call it a moment, to kind of move it around a little bit. It adheres down, like when you put it down and you are ready to go and you take your hand and run it over, it adheres perfectly, but it also gives you just a little bit of time to get a really nice border around your page, which I think is awesome. So now I'm going to collect all of these little bits and pieces from this collection, and I'm going to get all of my grid kind of really centered, really organized. And I'm going to use the grid on my glass media mat to center everything, and I'm going to get all of my grid stuff down and ready to go. So I want to pop up my photos, and I'm going to do that by adding the foam tape from Spiegelbomb Scraps. You will always be able to find my an affiliate link below to the Spiegelbomb Scraps shop, and I will also include I'm also going to include the Etsy store for Scrap and Happy Studio for the gorgeous epoxy flare. It's not an Etsy store anymore. She actually has an actual website. And then you'll also find below a link to a cherry on top and what they have of this specific collection. Again, I just bought the collection pack and extra 12x12 stickers, the stamps, and the 6x6 paper pad. So now it's time to get all of these little die cut pieces together. So these are all the cut apart pieces from the 6x6 pad. I decided to add a bit of a staple to that one. And then the other part of my journaling, which will be on the green box, will also have a staple. Okay, next up, epoxy flare. Where do I want them to go? So look how gorgeous this flare is. This is one of the coffee themed kits, coffee themed flare set. And I don't know, I think the flare set came out first, but this particular epoxy flare set, 1000% matches this collection. Now, it's not going to match the collection if you don't have coffee photos or coffee stories to tell, obviously. But if you do have coffee stories to tell, this epoxy set is gorgeous and perfection for this kit. So I went ahead, I did my journaling on those two little cut apart pieces. I'm going to go through the sticker sheet and I'm going to add all the coffee. So I knew that for most of the layouts I want to do for this collection, I don't want them to be coffee layouts. It just so happened, my sister just sent me these photos and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to print them out and create a coffee layout with them because they were too perfect. So I am going to go ahead and use as much of the coffee as I can because I probably will make cards with most of the coffee sentiments. So these photos are of my niece, and just so we're clear, she thinks she's drinking coffee. She is not. She's only 2. It's okay. There's no parenting faux pas going on here. The journaling describes that she thinks she's drinking coffee, and she calls it coffee, but it's not really coffee. It's all right. So anyone who was kind of just going, calm down, it's not really coffee. She just thinks it is. I am adding the stickers. I'm popping some up on foam dots. I added a couple little phrases and put those on to some of the empty space in the photos. And just having fun, just creating all these fun little clusters. And then I stamped. So this is the Rustic Wilderness stamp pad. It's the Distress Oxide ink, the new color from Tim Holtz. Another amazing product that matches this collection perfectly. So I am just using some washi tape to kind of mask off the corner. So I used it to mask off the top corner, the top left corner. I'm using it to mask off the bottom right corner. I'm using some of the smaller stamps from the stamp set and the Rustic Wilderness ink pad, and I'm just stamping a fun little corner design. The layout calls for like a stitch circle element. I eliminated that part, and it wouldn't have really worked because I also altered this sketch in that my photos and my grid element is larger than the actual layout. So once I have that bit of stamping done, I'm going to go ahead and use Antique Rose Nuvo drops, and I'm going to add just little dots around my 2 stamped areas and also in the in 2 of the blocks. So the idea being you can take you're creating a diagonal line with the Nuvo drops going from the top left to the bottom right. And here are all of the close-ups. Look at her face. She's so happy that she got coffee in quotation marks. I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous day, and I will see you again soon, hopefully. All right, guys, bye.